Well, hello, and thank you so much for stopping by the In Tribe, a place for the inspired, thriving tribe. My name is Ciera Payton, and I am your host of the In Trive Talks. Now, I created this channel specifically to interview really, really amazing creatives that I've come across in my creative journey in hopes to help you along your journey. So, today we have a really awesome guest, someone who I just love dearly. But before we dive into that, I need you to go ahead and do me a quick favor and be sure to hit the like and subscribe button below. Go ahead. Hit it. There you go. All right, awesome. So let me go ahead and introduce today's very special guest. Look, he is known as Kyle Flint on BET's Tyler Perry's The Oval. And he has also been a part of the 2021 Shark Week on Discovery Channel, appearing in the network's first ever shark competition docuseries, Shark Academy. So Brad Benedict, he is also known for his roles on Tyler Perry's / TLC's first scripted series, Too Close to Home, the drama, and thriller, Broken Halos, and rom-com Love on the Rise, and NCIS, and Glee. Now, Brad caught the acting bug at the age of 3 when he realized he loved to entertain and be the center of attention. When he got to high school, he auditioned for the spring musical, singing the song Desperado, and booked the leading role in Bye Bye Birdie. He attended the University of Georgia, studying finance and playing for the tennis team. Upon graduation, he had a job lined up for him on Wall Street, but decided to pursue a career in acting. So following his dreams paid off when he booked his first series regular role on the show, Too Close to Home, in 2016. Most recently, Brad played a villainous sheriff in Tyler Perry's new Netflix film, A Jazzman's Blues, a story that unravels 40 years of secrets and lies and a tale of forbidden love and family drama. Perry penned the screenplay 26 years ago, and it's the first one he'd ever written. When he's not working, Brad enjoys being out in nature, playing the guitar, traveling, and focusing on his health and wellness. So, In Tribers, without further ado, please welcome Brad Benedict. All right, Brad, well, I just introduced you, and so thank you so very much for stopping by the In Tribe. I so appreciate it. How you doing today?
Absolutely. Always a pleasure, Miss Ciera. I'm good. It's a sunny day in Southern California, which, you would think would be the norm, but it's been rainy and storming for weeks. So
yeah, that's been crazy. It's like I hadn't seen that type of raining since living in New Orleans. So interesting stuff. Yeah. So well, now sunny skies, we got you on here, and this is just gonna be all about Mr. Brad Benedict today. And we can always bounce off of each other, whatever, but so let's just dive into it. I just want to get some icebreaker questions out the way. So
let's do it.
Zodiac sign, do you know your top 3, your sun, rising, and moon, or has anyone talked to you about that yet?
I think somebody's probably talked to me about it, and I probably was very interested, but that all kind of goes over my head a little bit. I'm a Virgo. I was born on a Friday the 13th.
Oh, wow.
Which, growing up, every time I would say that, kids are like, oh, that explains everything. Whatever that means. But born September the 13th, and I can get down with all that. Like, I've done some card readings and things like that, and I guess the way my take is on it, I just open up. I'm like, hey man, whatever, woman, man, spirits, I'm open, show me the light. And so you tell me what does it mean? What tell me about
myself. I was going to ask you, do you know, things that people have said about Virgos, do you find, are there any things that you find to be true about yourself or not true?
Perfectionist. I think I've heard that's supposed to be a Virgo kind of thing, and definitely not perfect, but definitely put a lot of pressure on myself. I feel like I'm supposed to be organized. I'm not sure if that's accurate. I have a desperation for organization and structure, but I'm not great at it. So, other than that, I feel like that's the one that I always remember people saying is oh, Virgos, you guys are perfectionists. So
maybe your perfectionism, your unperfectionism is probably perfectionism for someone else. So, maybe it's just having a really high bar, who knows? So
which is a blessing and a curse, because I think I definitely have always done that for myself, or had that for myself, had a high bar, which is exciting because it'll lift you up at times, but definitely can beat up on myself sometimes.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Hmm.
Little Virgo stuff there. The only thing
Hmm.
that I've really heard about Virgos is that they could be just brutally honest. And I don't know if I've ever been really on the receiving end of that, but I do have an aunt, my Aunt Kathy, she's Virgo, and so I guess maybe, but it never bothered me, so maybe it bothers other people. I don't know, but like,
I actually think I would be better off being more honest in some situations, honestly. Like, I would say I probably tend to want to people please a little bit, and might let something, if something's bothering me, I might let it kind of build up and boil inside, and
mm,
maybe then express my honesty in a way that isn't as grounded as I would like it to be by the time I get there. I don't know. I mean, I guess that kind of self-reflection is it's interesting, because I until you have a conversation like this, I don't do it that often, and there's definitely, like, there's always two sides to every coin. Like, I guess for where my fault is with that, sometimes I'm really good at it, or I appreciate being honest about my love for my friends, and my, like, I always thought I was vulnerable. I think maybe I learned I'm not so much. Like, I definitely hide behind the mask, so to say.
ah,
But as far as just expressing love and care for my acquaintances and people, I think I do a pretty good job at that.
nice. And that's the people who should be receptive of that, you know,
Mm, mm,
always. So,
mm,
but
mm.
yeah, I totally relate to you on the people pleasing thing. I'm a recovering people pleaser. So I'm still working on it. So,
How do you recover? How do you work on that personally?
oof, gosh, I mean I guess I mean it's deep, but I think it's just really stopping myself in those moments when I'm like, I gotta please, I gotta say I'm sorry. I gotta kind of, acquiesce and bow, and I would say, my fiance Aaron, he's been really good at, some of those moments, like pointing that out to me of like, hey, like it's okay, like you
Mm,
don't have to, and a lot of times I feel like our need to people please comes from assumptions that people want us to please them,
mhm,
when a lot of
mhm.
times they're not even thinking about us. You know what I mean? It's like
Big time,
they're like,
big
"What?
time.
Like, why are you
Yeah.
trying to bend over backwards for me? I'm not even looking at you." So it's just like it's just bringing awareness to it. But there's moments, yeah, like I feel, my heart beats fast and I'm in the moment and I'm like, and then I'm like, okay, you don't
It
have to
comes from a
please.
place of love, or I think it comes from probably a healthy place. You want to be
Hmm.
sweet, and you want to make other people happy, and be there for them. But I could see
Sure.
that, where a lot of times it's like, what, no, my mind wasn't on you at all, like that. But
Hmm.
stop being a narcissist, Brad. It's not about you. Like,
Hmm.
and then I also think, I've heard the saying, like, say thank you, not sorry.
Yeah,
Like, I sort of feel like that could be something that would help with that, where it's like, thank you for the extra time, rather than I'm sorry I'm late, or something like that.
exactly.
Just sort of shifts the perspective a little bit.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
interesting stuff, man. I think a lot of us have that in us, and especially in
You
this
know,
business. So.
not to not to get into you too much, but, like, I've noticed since we worked together on a show, you're
Mhm.
pretty good. I feel like you're pretty good about, like, kind of setting your needs. Like, obviously you'll work with your scene partner to, like, find a time to rehearse, for instance, but, like,
Mhm.
I feel like you're pretty good about being regimented. Like, this is my window, this works for me, like, I got my yoga scheduled, or I got this. So it's interesting, like, not in a just to hear that, the people pleasing thing, which I can see as well, but
Mhm.
at the same time, maybe that's an active, something you're actively focusing on, where it's like, I need to carve out this time for me, and it'll be healthier if I just let you know what's good for me, versus,
Yeah.
like, trying to mix my schedule up to be where you need me to be, type of deal.
No, for sure. I've had to just really adapt and just apply different ways to work. to really retrain myself to be better, because Ciera 8 years ago would be like, whatever you need. Okay, and the next thing I know, I'm like up until 3 a.m. and having, to get up at 6 and, and totally drained and tired. And so it's just like figuring out, okay, what work can I do on my own? How can I work with other people? How can I start just setting a schedule so I'm not burnt out, and especially like, the way that we work too, it's easy to kind of, do that. And so it's easy to get burnt out. But I've just learned over the years, and even just outside of doing the Oval, just how to just better manage my time and my schedule and just my energy reserves. That's really what it boils down for me, because the whole people pleasing stuff, yeah, like it just would burn me out. I'd be giving out all my energy to everybody and everyone, and then none for myself, And so it's just really having to take a step back and be like, okay, like remanage yourself, Ciera, so you can manage other people.
I love that. Love it.
Yeah. So, okay, let's just dive in. I already know, but for people who don't know, where are you from? What was your cultural upbringing like? And what was your parents' occupation?
So born and raised in the suburbs of Atlanta in a little town called Norcross, which I think everything in Atlanta and the suburbs is kind of growing now. But I spent, I don't know, man, probably my first 30 or 31 years in the same living room for Christmas. So grew up there in Norcross, ended up going to the University of Georgia, studied finance. We'll get into that. My parents, mom and dad, my dad was actually a tennis coach as his main deal. And so that kind of shaped my life and relationship with him a lot, because that was a big thing for us. And that, I ended up playing in college. My mom was a nurse, an RN. And so once she had the kids, I don't know actually when she really gave up I think she was a neonatal nurse, so working with babies, but growing up, she would then do kind of classes or gig work so she could be home with us, but she taught Lamaze classes or childbirth classes.
Oh, wow.
In different forms. And then, would do other kind of be a phlebotomist and pull blood or give flu shots and stuff. But she was an RN, and then mostly an awesome, very present mom. Very, I wouldn't say very strict, but I couldn't get away with much. I didn't get away with much. And yeah, it was suburbs. It was like, I wouldn't say exactly I'm a country boy, although like I can get down with that kind of vibe, because I love the music and, being from the South, and I go ride horses in the summers in Montana and stuff. But yeah, youngest of four.
I was going to ask. So, boys, girls, okay.
Both. So oldest is a boy, my brother Charles. He's like 8.5 years older than me. Then I have sister Jennifer, who's 4-ish years older than me, and she's got 4 boys, married, the only one with kids. And then my next sister is like 1.5 years older than me, Lindsay, and she's also a nurse. She's in Dallas right now doing a travel nursing gig, working with very sick babies. So I think, what she does is heroic. As well as my sister, who's a mom to 4 boys. And yeah, so I don't know how we're born versus nature, nurture, whatever, but I was always kind of an attention hog, for better or worse. My sister, who's 1.5 years older, has made jokes. Like, I remember on my 21st birthday, she'll probably kill me for saying this, but she gave me a card and she was like, 21 years ago, you stole my thunder. Oh man. And our relationship has only gotten better and better. And we picked at each other as kids, but so it's all good. But yeah, I definitely wanted to steal the spotlight, and was the little kid who would have conversations with adults when he was 4 years old and stuff like that, which I actually think had to do sort of with why I became an actor. Like, I'm jumping probably to questions that you're
No, you're good. This is good. I love it. This is what we're conversing here, and I'm listening to your story, let's hear it.
tend to do this just to start talking. But
You're good.
yeah, so like I loved acting and the idea of it from a young age because of performance. It was fun, you know, it's fun to make people smile, laugh, whatever it might be. I enjoyed having the eyes. It's funny as I get older, there's moments where I'm now like I'm kind of cool not having the eyes on me or the attention or whatever. Whereas a kid, that's all I ever wanted for probably just validation and being the youngest and kind of I felt like maybe my special sauce was being outgoing, you know, so then you kind of lean into that. And yeah. Oh, so when I moved to LA, you know, so many of my friends, oh, the art of film and this and that. And I'm like, I like going and feeling happy with maybe a tear rolling down my cheek and inspired. And so like, I think I've grown to appreciate the kind of art and the craft of it for sure after being here in LA and going after it for 15 plus years now. But for sure, when I first made the choice, I had done one high school play and I loved feeling that audience. Like maybe I'm honestly better suited if I could be a theater actor. Maybe that would even be better for the things that I enjoy the most out of it, which is just kind of putting on a show.
Yeah, I get that, man. I mean, it's definitely, there's always that something sparked inside of us, to do that. And yeah, theater for sure is it's a magical experience for sure. So hopefully we'll manifest that into your realm, so
Anything's doable if you choose it. I mean,
Mhm.
that's something I wrestle with daily is like maybe how many options there are out there for me or
Yeah.
you or pretty much anybody. I can understand that struggle. Or I'm grateful that I have at least a guiding kind of foundation with the acting. Like at least I know my number one thing for a career and also for just feeling good. I'm feel my best when I'm on set. It gives me something to wake up for and a place to be in a community. But I know some friends my age, younger, older, that are still sort of like it's almost scary to commit, you know, because there's so many options. And then once if you really want to be great at something or break into a tough industry, whatever it might be, finance, something in the arts, whatever, you really have to give, and that's a scary thing. You have to give all of yourself. So I do think there's time in the day to if you can chunk it out where I could be a musician and I could be an actor and I could be a better at multiple things. But yeah, that just that thought of like choosing one thing and kind of the mortality of it
Yeah.
is like I got one shot, one chance. Like how do I choose where to focus my effort?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of leads into one of my questions I had, and it's just really about figuring out the work-life balance, as in terms of an actor.
Mhm.
What is your kind of, I don't know, just daily routine, just overall outlook, because like you said, it is, and I do think a lot of it is mentality,
Mhm.
obviously. There's some people that are like, I'm going to start today. And the next thing you know, they're like on something big or whatever, or they're working and they hadn't had a resume or been in the business for 15, 16 years. And then there's some people that are like, I don't want to, it's going to be too hard. Let me not do it. And then it's like, yeah, they spend another 15 years trying to book a gig, And so I think it is mentality, but yeah, you do have to like dedicate yourself or commit and be intentional with it. But I'm just curious about you, like, what have you learned in terms of just how to balance the life of an actor versus just like being a human being? Like what is that like for you?
It seems like it probably should get a little, well, maybe that's not true. I've had a harder time after having more success in a way. Maybe that's because I'm in
Mm,
the moment now and like where you are in that present moment, you feel like is everything, if that makes sense. Like it's so important.
yeah.
But I kind of miss a little bit of the guy that I was when I was straight hustling, like, like pass up going to that dinner with my friends because I was trying to string together the dollars and things like that because I
Yes.
felt like I was forced to create more structure for my life. Um, I was out in a lot more communities because of just side jobs or, again, the hustle. So like I did a lot of extra work, honestly. And I feel grateful because I know a lot of people who do that and don't make their way into principal roles. But I learned a lot doing that. But I also made a lot of friends. Like I would wake up, have to get up early, have to be on set, getting to watch kind of it was tough because you were watching actors do what you wanted to do, but at the same time learning a lot, and then just people to talk to. I coached CrossFit for 5 years.
Wow.
And actually wrote and created a web series in that world. Yeah, so I coached CrossFit for 5 years, and that was a community. I think that's the thing I like the most about it. I know a lot of people are kind of almost weirded out. It's like a cultish kind of thing. But I think the reason that is because it makes you feel so great just working hard in a workout, but then you get to know the people. So you show up every day and it's a positive environment. I was in a writers group for 7 to 10 years. I don't even know how long, but we would meet once a week, and I never finished a full script, but it gave me somewhere to be with the guys. We talked about our careers. We became best buds. I read a ton of scripts. Shoot, there's so many things that kind of force structure, forced me to get out, be in the field, and just it was a lot of fun. So grateful for especially the Oval, and I've told a lot of people recently. I think a lot of fans probably know we shoot pretty fast, and as a series regular, we get paid by the episode. So you would think the faster you go, the better it opens up the rest of your year. And I'm sort of like, you know what? If it took me 4 or 5 months, and made the same amount of money, I think I might prefer it better just to like slow it down. One, be able to like really dig into the material even further, but also I just love having somewhere to show up and a place to be. So I'm working on recreating a schedule. I'm back, I got signed up. I'm getting back into acting class.
Nice.
To be around that. I've called up a buddy, and we, just as a workout partner, who's one of my best friends and also in the business. And so it's these little things that I would tell other people, find community, find a hobby, stick with it. Don't worry about like being great on day one. Like, for learning a musical instrument, a lot of people pick it up, but it's so hard that they can't stick it out. So I've always wanted to be able to sing. I play guitar and sing for fun, but I've never felt confident. So I got back in December in voice lessons, and I'm like, for better or worse, maybe I'm not meant to be, but I'm going to stick it out this year and like practice what I preach. And I truly believe that if you make things a practice daily, I love that term that I didn't understand until a few years ago with, you'd hear it in yoga, it's a practice. And like, what does that mean? But I think it just means like it's something you regularly come back to. You don't put pressure on it on the day, every single day, and like just revisiting and making it a kind of a habit, and slowly you'll find yourself where you want to be. Yeah, I think in a sense, success as an actor has enabled me to be lazy. But now that I'm seeing that, you know what I mean, and it doesn't make me happy. Everything I thought I wanted, I don't want to have to do anything. That's not true. Like I do like to have control of what I'm doing, but I want to have something to show up for. And so I'm rebuilding that back in. And every single time I do, like I'll spend time in the house. Oh, I have so many things to do. And then I leave the house for a couple hours to go to my voice lesson and go for a workout, and all that stuff that I thought was so pressing is all of a sudden not even existent. It's like you're going to create that anxiety if you're just too still, and maybe that goes into our primal nature. A lot of people talk now like, oh, we were meant to hunt. We were meant to, but to survive, there was so much that you had to do on a daily basis. So maybe there's something deep inside us that just needs that. I don't know what it is.
No, you know what, that I hadn't thought of it that way, but I do believe that feels right on it. Like it feels true, because I do know, and I don't know what I was listening to not so long ago, but I know for me personally, after a project is over, I do get really sad. Like I feel really lost, like I'm like, wait, what do I do next? And I was listening to someone, and it wasn't even related to acting, but they were just talking about that, people experience that after a project is over, that they feel, just like lack of identity or sense of accomplishment or whatever, and I just remember
Mhm.
for a long time I felt like, it was always bittersweet when a project was over, because it's like you made these friends, you got to create for X amount of time, and then it's just over,
Mhm.
And then I think what used to happen with me, and even still now, is like, okay, where's the next job? It's
Yeah.
like, you're like,
There's
and
a void. There's a
hmm
void that unless you're really good at filling it, is gonna like it can drag you down, or it can just like it can confuse you. You're it's not even there's nothing to worry about. Everything's great. Get back out there, get that next job, and fill the space with things you want to do. But yeah, it can maybe a little bit too much time and too much space to think isn't always healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I totally believe that. So hats off to you for trying to implement some things to just feel
Trying.
just somewhat like normal again. I mean, yeah, I remember when I was in college too, because I went to an acting conservatory, and one of the alumni, they came back and they talked to us about that, and they were saying that, right now where you are, and we were like sophomores in college or whatever, and it was easier because you're in school, but he was just saying that start creating a daily routine for yourself,
Mhm.
because once you get out of college and you start looking for work or whatever, you're just it's going to be, you need that to just kind of anchor yourself, or you're going to
Mhm.
just, again, like you're going to feel a little lost or a little like, what am I doing with my life or whatever, and so, that's something I've worked on over the years, of just like getting up at a set time, working out every day, you know having my lunch, and and then just kind of attacking what I need to attack, for
Mhm.
the day or for the week. So yeah.
Yeah, I want to do more of that, like block scheduling almost. I guess it seems like it would make sense, but until my girlfriend kind of brought that up, I was
Mm.
like, oh, all of a sudden it gives me ease, but where it was just like, getting up at a certain time, getting in the gym, come back, have your breakfast, but like 9 to noon, okay, I'm at my desk, I'm gonna work on all that pile of junk that I have. And
Mhm.
then noon to 12:30, I'll do my voice lesson, and then 12:30 to whatever, I'll practice my guitar. And then, first of all, it would leave 2 p.m. to the rest of the day full open. But
Yeah.
then I think once I sat down and started just having focus time where I gave myself permission to just focus on one thing, I'd find out really quickly, oh, there's way less that needs attention here, and there's way more space to give to these other side hobbies, passions, whatever, and I don't have to feel guilty about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, just kind of creating that block of time, 30 minutes today. If you don't finish it, okay, cool, you're back on it tomorrow. But like, I don't know, still always a work in progress.
Hey, look, I'll help you. I got a few little
I
tools
know
I
you'd
can
be
share
good
with
at it.
you.
I do not doubt that. I feel like if I could steal some of your qualities, for sure, I could maybe dominate the world.
Oh man, look, I need to steal some of yours, seriously. Like just following the bliss as well. So,
Love it.
that's what I'm learning from you, because I know that you got a whole thing with the sharks, and also just how you got into acting in the
Mhm.
first place. I mean, you went to school for finance, and you also played tennis, and so I'm curious about that. And I'm sure this is a story that you've told so many times. So now this is your opportunity to tell it differently if you like to. You can embellish or whatever.
Sure.
But I'm just
Yeah.
curious, finance, tennis, and then acting. So tell me
Yeah.
what's up, how that happened.
So the tennis definitely was at a very young age, just kind of getting into that sport. My dad, you know, probably dreams of me being the next Andre Agassi, next top dog.
Hmm.
And so that was kind of always in the background. I think I probably started focusing primarily just like a one sport athlete and all the way back in middle school. And so when a lot of kids were partying in high school, I was traveling to, this North Carolina or wherever playing a tennis tournament. It kept me out of trouble.
Nice.
Um, so always had the tennis. I was always, honestly, I always got like straight A's or really really good grades. And I think part of that is just a competitive nature. I I just wanted to, I wanted to be the best. So always did well in school. Ended up going to the University of Georgia. Oh, well, so acting was, from the time I was a little kid, was intriguing. But in Georgia, there was no business in Georgia really at that time. Now Atlanta is a huge hub for filmmaking,
Yeah.
but there wasn't really anything going on, and so Hollywood and all that just felt so far away. So I didn't really get into the acting thing until my junior year of high school. My sister had done Grease the year before, and I remember just being in the crowd, and we had a big 300 to 400 seat theater and a nice drama program at our high school. And it's just like, man, I want to be on that stage so badly. So the next year, the auditions for the spring musical came. I saw the flyer in the hallway of my high school the day of, and I didn't have a song. You had to sing a song. I was completely unprepared, but I was like, oh, I got to do this. So I remember I called my mom, and she checked me out of school as if I was sick. And I went home, and I was like, all right, I got to find a song. I was going to do like Summer of '69. I ended up singing Desperado.
Nice.
I didn't know any show tunes. I thought it was completely normal. And like when I tell people that, they kind of giggle. And yeah, I went through that process, ended up getting the leading role in Bye Bye Birdie.
Nice.
And I think I had 4 solos, and I was in 75% of the scenes, and it was crazy. And I watched back the DVD of that show 20 years ago now, and it's very uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah.
Like every line.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But that's how I started, and I only did one show, and I felt like by the end I sort of kind of started understanding it. I remember my drama teacher in high school was like, I finally made you an actor, and then you quit on me. But the tennis was always like I thought I wanted to play in college. That was it. And it felt like I had to really give all my attention to that. And so I ended up going to Georgia. It was crazy hard. I walked on the team. I wasn't a scholarship guy, but we won the NCAA championship my junior year. Wow. Which was cool. My sophomore year, we were undefeated until the finals of the NCAA tournament, and ended up losing, and then came back and won it the next year. So that was like huge, and it was helped me with my discipline and not getting out of control in college. And then as far as like the finance goes, I always wanted to make a lot of money. That was like, like a stupid little kid, like I'm going to be rich, but I have no idea how I'm going to do it. And my dad would have me watching like the CNBC stock tickers when I was 8, 9, 10 years old. And wow. So at a young age, I kind of learned a little bit about how stocks work and just investing in general. And I think I took for granted that was something that everybody had some introduction to, just because it was my normal. Like some dads go and watch ESPN, maybe no TV at all, but my dad, his kind of fun thing that he would watch would be just the kind of these investment shows and talking strategy. And I remember coming out of college, he was like, my number one thing is fully fund your investment fund every year. So as a 22-year-old or even younger, because I had some side gigs, I was always trying to fully fund my Roth IRA, which I think when I started, you could only put $5,000 in a year to your Roth IRA. That all grows quickly, and I'm grateful for that. And that's something a piece of advice to anybody watching, especially anybody young, is like, doesn't have to be a lot, but if you can start trying to put into some sort of a retirement account, it's something I believe in. And then by the time we're 50, 60, which comes probably quicker than we want to imagine, it sets you up. So anyways, point being is that was just
I'm sorry. I'm just like, I have to pause there and park right there for a second, because, I love that. And I think that, I don't know. We might have to have you come back on down the line if you're ever interested in doing that. But just, talking about all of that, just finances for actors, it's just, or just creatives in general. I know it's something that, like you said, you probably took for granted, early on. But I'm sure that you learned enough of things that you're still applying to your
Definitely.
financial livelihood to today.
Definitely.
I'm assuming, I don't know, if you want to
No,
talk about that,
definitely. Another one of those things I probably stress more than I need to, but yeah, I remember a couple years ago having like just a random friend. I'm like, let's go have coffee. I'll kind of give you the basics that I know, just a good place to start. And had a conversation, and then it led to another one with another person who's had come into a little bit of cash because their grandma passed away, and that's when I kind of was like, oh, I could see kind of putting my own little academy together, maybe specifically for actors, just because that's my business. But I'm not going to be your financial advisor or anything like that, but it certainly feel like I learned some nice basics to where I just have like guidelines and kind of yeah, just good habits to not blow it all, and to try to make my money work for me over time, and just
Mhm.
create some confidence. I definitely did not come from a wealthy family by any means at all, but I think there were some good lessons that, trying you don't have to make millions and millions to slowly create a nice financial independence, and certainly that's always a goal of mine, making my money work for me. And I have to straddle that line because I have a buddy who's like trying to send me like How to Die with Zero book, and like we've been friends since we were kids, and he always was like spending everything he earned. And even at 18, when he was like had a bouncer job and was making 75 grand a year, which I was like, holy crap, that's
Yeah.
crazy. When I'm in college, I'm like just giving little tips, and I don't think there's much to show for even now after years of making good money. But he's out having delicious, delectable dinners every night, and always has a nice sports car. So there's always a give take.
Mm.
I'd like to put my money into experience more. So I'm trying to give myself the freedom to continue traveling more, or even like the voice lesson type thing, putting money into building a
Yeah.
skill. I've never been super materialistic. I want those things, it'd be fun to have all those fun trinkets and toys, but I do realize like they don't. That first dopamine hit is nice, but often that thing that feels good at the cash register ends up like sitting on your shoulders. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like the whole minimalism thing is actually really intriguing to me.
It is. Man, I've seen so many of those documentaries and I've just like, I've tried to adapt that and I've gotten so much better over the years. I've never been a big, like spender in terms of materialistic things, but it's also, I've definitely collected things over the years,
Mhm.
like all of my scripts, I keep all of my scripts, and that's something I don't think I'll ever like, throw out. Yeah, exactly. But then there's just things that when I go through and I'm like, why do I have, this old card from, when I was in high school? Oh, but it means something to me. So it's just like, I don't know, the whole minimalism thing, I definitely want to try to apply that, and again,
Mhm.
like shout out to our significant others. Like I feel like they teach us so many things sometimes. Like
Yeah.
he's like Steve Jobs with his outfit, he just has like five shirts, five pants, and that's it. And I'm like, how in the world do you do that? So
I feel
yeah.
you. Yeah, when we're trying to do like clean out the closet day and get rid of old clothes, I'll find one memory, or hey,
Yep.
I'm gonna need this for one audition.
Yep.
Marie Kondo, what does she say? Like, does
Sparks
the
joy.
spark? Yeah, does it spark? It
Yeah.
sparks joy. Does it spark joy? And I'm like, spark
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, exactly.
And meanwhile, Ash has like a full bag to take to Goodwill or whatever. So, but when I do finally like threw out a pair of socks yesterday, felt great.
Nice. Yeah.
But
So
it's tough.
baby
It's tough.
steps. Oh man.
Baby steps for sure.
I just but thank you for just speaking a little bit about just, financial awareness for creatives. I mean, there's things I'm still trying to learn right now, and it's just refreshing to hear someone like yourself to just talk about a little bit of those things, because I think a lot of creatives, a lot of people who are aspiring to, be actors or be on shows, just in general, we're not really taught financial literacy, in school, and, our parents
Nobody
weren't
is.
really taught. Yeah, like no one, it's something that, thank goodness that your dad was, showing you those things, but it's just, you know, a
Mhm.
lot of people aren't educated in that. And so it's when you book that first show, I mean, how are you, you know, spending your money and stuff? And it's just a lot of people don't really have, you know, just that awareness. And for me,
Yeah.
I'm very just self-taught. Like I'll watch YouTube videos of Rich Dad, Poor Dad all day long, you know, and just be like, okay, do I need those Louboutins? No, I don't. Like, let's put that money, you know, towards buying a new house or something, you know? So,
That,
uh,
that's so cool. Like how in charge you can be.
but it's not easy. I'll be
It's
honest. I mean,
not
especially,
easy.
you know, when we first started with the Oval and we're doing all this press and going to these like nice events, like I wanted to have a nice dress on or, you know,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I mean, I still have my little, you know, 2009 Hyundai Sonata, you know, and there's moments where I'm like, oh, I just want to buy a Tesla, you know, like I want to get that like nice new
Mhm.
car, you know, and I'm just like, just wait, Sierra, wait, like,
Yeah.
you know, just wait until things are different, better, and you know, you can do that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I feel the urge
So
all the time.
some of those choices are there is no right or wrong answer, but I do believe like even as a guy, I my degrees in finance, had a big Wall Street job, like
Oh
signed my
yeah.
papers coming out of college. And then I can tell you more about that. But that, even with that education, it didn't teach me these things that we're talking about of just how to run your own life, how to kind of take care of your own finances, how to plan for taxes, how to plan for retirement and all that. So it's, I think it's cool though. Like you said, YouTube or there's a lot of resources out there and it doesn't have to be so scary, but yeah, it's just not built into our system to kind of give people, I mean, even for me, I'm trying to like for years build a budget, dude. Like
I
just get a
know,
budget, a
yeah.
monthly budget, and then whatever you got left over that's budgeted to go spend, okay, then it's fun and easy to go and splurge on a nice dinner because I know it's built into the plan. um
Hmm.
so I'm with
Discipline.
you.
It's
I'm with
never
you.
fun, but you know, it's like just figuring it out. So I definitely got a
Discipline.
long ways to go with it, but you know,
I
yeah.
think discipline in like all areas of life, I'm realizing, is the key to happiness. It's so hard, but it's just overall, it's a gift that gives back.
Yeah.
Um, whether it's discipline to continue day to day working on a task that you're trying to, where you're trying to get to an end goal, or discipline with your emotions, just in general, if I'm ever a parent, which I hope to be someday,
Mm.
I think I got to dig into the word of discipline, and I'm scared to death of like the idea of disciplining a child and having that all get confusing and but I believe that's a big gift
Yeah.
that parents can give to their kids. Maybe it's tough love sometimes, but discipline with yourself and then maybe getting it from those figures that you respect, I think is ultimately like can lead you to the promised land of your goals.
For sure. For
Mhm.
sure. Yes. Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a choice. Do you want to talk about how you landed the role of Kyle on Oval, or do you want to talk a little bit about your love of sharks and your Shark Week experience?
See, I want both, but let's go. Let's.
We might
I,
have time for both, but you know,
no,
I also I wonder though, because I know that, you know, you've done a lot of press and stuff. So, you know, if you've shared the story about the Oval so many times, you know, maybe you don't
yeah.
have to share it on here.
Well,
But
the
you know,
quick,
either way.
yeah.
Or we
I
can do
like to
both.
talk.
It's
I
fine.
want to talk about nature and sharks and all that adventure stuff. So I'm gonna get into that. But just the quick thing with the oval is the oval became from me work, from a different job. My first job I ever did with Tyler Perry is it was a show called Too Close to Home,
Mm.
and that was my first ever series regular role. And I just bring that up because it was like 2 weeks before that I told my acting teacher, I was like, it's not going to happen. Like I've been at this for 8 years. Like if I'm going to get a series role like that, like I had bookings, guest stars and stuff like that, but I was like, it's going to be a small role, co-star, and somehow they're just going to bring me back and then it'll build. And she's like, I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah.
But I had kept working and I was just really putting in the time, and I wasn't even going to tape this audition for Too Close to Home. It was a rugged trucker, and I'm just like, I didn't feel like that guy. I was clean cut, and skinny white boy. And anyways, my friends, I was at a rehearsal for class, and my friends had me just read it out loud, and they're like, that's kind of rolls off your tongue nicely, just do it. So I just did it. And I really gave everything I had, and was prepared, and really went for it. And just one thing led to the next, and I got it. Tyler gave me a chance for a guest star arc on another one of his shows. That was just an offer, which was really cool. I'd never experienced that before. And then with the Oval, it was kind of in one of the darkest times. Like, Too Close to Home didn't last very long because it was an attempt to work with a new network, and just, family stuff and health and this and that. And so it's just crazy how things can come when it feels the toughest. But it was actually a text from Tyler, and he was like, I'm writing this new show, and there's this crazy character, and I'm writing, and I'm thinking of your voice. And so there was more to it. I ended up still taping an audition just to kind of prove myself and everything. But it was really cool to see after 10 years in the business how like that those relationships can pay off. And if you just bring your best and keep fighting. I was always in class. I never quit that. I was creating my own material with friends, web series, pilots, in writers group. I would just show up. If somebody was making something or there was any opportunity, I would just be in that room, and it turned into more. Oval's been a gift. I remember screaming. I was in my parents' backyard when I got the news that I got it, and I was like, yes, come on. Like doing cartwheels, and my nephews were like, what's going on? Like this weird Uncle Shark is being weird. So it's been a gift. My just to wrap that up in a quick story is quick thing is.
You don't have to make it quick, but go ahead.
Well, I want to get to my sharks, but is finish what you start. That's what I've always learned. Like, said this on a bunch of different podcasts or conversations. It's like, that's my best piece of advice for anything is like, start something and finish it. Small, big, whatever it might be. Every time I've done that, whether it was a workout program or creating, this web series or whatever, things sometimes took years to complete. But once I really proved to whatever's out there that I had what it took, somehow, some way, that energy came back to me, and all of my biggest accomplishments came after finishing something tough that I, committed to. So
that's
create
so
those
dead
things.
on.
Like, I need to do that for myself right now. Is like, I need to go figure out something to start and finish for myself, whether that's going and writing a song and recording it, or whatever it might be. You got to create the opportunity to prove to the heavens that you got it,
Yeah, or you just be sometimes, like I think that I don't know, that's we talked a little bit before we started, but I don't know, there's just sometimes I think we do put that pressure on ourselves to, try to find things, but sometimes like when you're just being, like things come to you, like how, you get that text or you get that opportunity, and you're still doing the work, and you're still, like actively, doing the motions to try to get that thing. Not like you're just like sitting on your hands all day, but it's just like, I think, I don't know. I love what you said, like finish what you start, for sure. Like I so relate to that. But also just to say, what you were talking about is, you need to go do this, you need to do that. And I look at you and I'm like, man, you're doing so many great things, and so like, I'm just, as a friend, as a coworker, colleague, I'm like, don't put any more pressure on yourself, Brad. Like, you're doing some like really great things. You're doing really great. And so,
I appreciate that.
you're enjoying life too, which I love. And that's a lesson that I need to learn from you, it's just like, follow the bliss, enjoy life, so yeah.
I think that's big. Yeah. I think if you're able to get into that blissful state, that's helpful. And I suppose you're right. When I really break it down, finishing what you start, maybe the biggest part of that is the peace it gives to me, of soul, peace of mind, just where I'm like, I can relax. I can let my vibrations be on this beautiful level because I'm not fighting myself, So maybe that's what it really boils down to more, is just figuring out how to be peaceful. Because usually when I get myself to a good healthy spot is when the positive gifts seem to come. So that's interesting. That kind of takes it even deeper. I also had a big breakthrough one year when I was like, I'm not going to focus on results anymore. I literally created a checklist, and I'm like, this would take like 4 hours a day if I just do this. So I'm going to focus on the process. And I think that kind of piece, and then, yeah, just enjoying. And it was like, do your voice lesson, do your acting homework, do a workout, do a meditation, a lot of these things, but just having a checklist where I could see that I had done the work and I was making a practice out of it. It gave me peace and relaxed me. And then all of a sudden, like, maybe you take that energy into your auditions. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah, it's something weird happens when we do that, you know? I don't know
mhm.
what it is. Every
Yeah.
time I said I quit, then I end up getting a job. So it's just like it's so I don't know. It's okay, I quit. So,
Yeah. All
it's
right.
just
I surrender. I
yeah,
surrender.
exactly, exactly. All right, let's get into sharks though, because we gotta talk about this. I love this.
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
fascinated by this.
I was thinking about this because I think people who know a little bit about me start to know my love of sharks.
Mhm.
My nephews call me Uncle Shark. I think it all started when I was a kid, and we'd go to Hilton Head, South Carolina, and I would fish off the beach, and I caught a little like 6-inch foot long shark, and I was like, oh my god, it's a shark. Like, it's just crazy jaws. And what it really was, yes, they're amazing animals, and I want to conserve them, and I teach you about them for many hours probably. But it's the mystery, it's really the ocean, or nature. And so I love the mountains too, but like, I like mountains where there's trees and I can wonder what animals are down in there. Like, what am I not seeing? I was in Joshua Tree this weekend, beautiful, but I look out and I'm like, I know there's no elk running wild, and there's no bear that's about to sneak up on them or whatever. And so I think the ocean is just, for me, is just this, it gives me this sense of wonder since I was a little kid. And then, so this top predator shark, never knowing when you're standing on that beach what's could be right there. Yeah, it just fills me up. It's like my version of going to space, and I want to be an explorer. That's another thing. As I get older, I realize the little kid never goes away.
No, never.
Right? You think when you're like, your dad was your age, or your grandfather, you look at him and it's like he still can
Yeah.
tap into that kid, like, it doesn't go
Yeah.
anywhere. So yeah, I just really, I started catching sharks on a fishing pole, and now I kind of have lost my luster for that, partially just because I know that it stresses them,
Mhm.
and they're more delicate than I realized, and 100 million sharks a year are massacred, if not more. And anytime you're killing a top predator, it just is going to destroy the ecosystem. And I take it all the way to, if we don't save the sharks, we're going to literally, we could kill ourselves off, because half of our oxygen is coming from like the ocean, from phytoplankton.
Yep.
And if you destroy a top predator, it's going to overgrow each level below that. And the next thing you know, the whole system's messed up. So in a weird way, that's kind of how my little
That's real though.
statement. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
real.
No, it's true. It's true. And so thank you
Um,
for sharing that. And then
and
you ended up doing Shark Week, right? And so
yeah,
what was that experience like? And was that your first time being like up close and personal, to big
yes.
sharks? Okay.
Yeah, underwater. So 2020, we were actually shooting season 2 of The Oval. Just with the whole pandemic, it gets you thinking. And I'm like, I got to go for these other dreams that I have, like, now. And I've always been I watched Shark Week since I was a little kid, and just had this fascination with the ocean and with the animal. And so I told myself, when we were shooting season 2 in a bubble on Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta, I was like, I'm gonna figure out how to get there. Maybe it'll take 10 years. Crazy thing is, once I committed to it and said I was going to do it, it was like less than 6 weeks later that the wheels were in process, and the wheels started turning.
Wow.
I was home on a Friday night. I looked at and watching an ocean documentary, and I went and like looked up the scientist that was featured in that show. on Instagram, clicked his link, and it happened to be a submission form for like this crazy adventure Shark Week show.
Wow.
And that put the gears into motion, and I was already late, so I sent in a videotape and told him I'm the perfect person, you need me. And one thing led to the next, and by the end of October 2020, a couple months later, I was quarantining in a hotel in Miami.
Wow.
And then we ended up living on a 100-foot dive boat, and my room alone was like smaller than a college dorm on a boat with 3 other grown men for 2 months straight. Yeah, and I'm used to, like, we get taken care of on set as an actor too well.
Yeah.
And these 2 months struggling, being put at the bottom again, having to prove myself to myself and to other people. We were doing a lot of free diving, so you're holding your breath, and you're at 3 a.m. we're wading through mud up to our bellies, gill netting babies to put tracking tags in them so we can keep track of their growth. We're catching 10-foot female bull sharks and putting 10-year satellite tags in them, and then doing an ultrasound, and they had babies inside. Free diving, no cage, with 12-foot hammerhead sharks. By the end of the show, I'm literally nose to nose like this with a 13, 15-foot bull shark, which is one of the most dangerous.
Wow.
No cage, and you just gently guide them away. But like I came back better. Like, I realized I need more of that boot camp environment where I have to go and struggle and not kind of be coddled. Get uncomfortable, because it was fun, but it was the hardest couple months. I'm in the middle of the ocean. I couldn't communicate with my family. At one point, they threw us onto a deserted island and said, you got to prove that you could survive a shipwreck. And for three nights and 4 days, I was stuck on an island having to spearfish for food, start our own fire. The sand flies were just eating us alive. But again, like, even when I came home, my girlfriend and my family were like, there's something different about you. But it wears off, and then you get spoiled again.
Yeah, then you come back to LA, you're like, where's my next job?
Yeah, exactly. And when you get that job, they're like, here you go, sir, here's your breakfast. It's like, on this ship, no, like, we took turns. I was cooking breakfast for the whole crew, and then the next day, when somebody else cooked, I'm cleaning the galley, and I'm scrubbing the decks of the boat every morning. And it was wild. So yeah, I just
so cool though. I mean, I just like I hear the boot camp aspect of it, but I just think that that's so dope. Like I mean, I'm scared of sharks, but I would love to be on the ocean in that type of, like you said, something that like kind of pushes you, and changes you for the better. Like, that just sounds so cool. I love it.
I think for a personal, like, growth aspect of it, I think we all probably love and believe in conserving nature and keeping our ecosystem sound. But yeah, as far as just personal growth, doing something scary, getting uncomfortable, proving to yourself that you can make it through something tough, is a really beautiful thing. And sometimes it's tough when you have to actively choose to be the one to put yourself in that situation.
Yeah.
But I think it always, as long as you just finish what you start, if you try, I think it always, whether you fall flat on your face or land on your feet, you're really landing on your feet, because you're not going to die. You're going to be stronger. You're going to learn about yourself. And that sense of pride can just really take you a long way. It can feed your soul. So
for sure. Oh, that's so good. Thank you, Brad. No, I'm like soaking all that in. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna jump into these rapid fire questions here, and if you can, just try to answer them, with one word, one sentence, maybe two sentences top. I know it's hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. I'm the worst at these things too, but let's dive into it. So, all right. So rapid fire questions. Favorite movie?
Have to just say something that makes you laugh and cry and feel inspired at the end.
Oh,
I can't commit.
Okay, got it. Okay, so if you weren't doing this, if you weren't an actor, creative, what would you be? What else would you be doing?
Yeah, I think I would be running a eco dive company that introduces people to the beauty of the ocean.
Ooh, I love that. Love that. All right. So what's the first thing you do when you wake up?
Cup of coffee.
Nice. All right. Dream project.
Cowboy role, who also gets to sing his songs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Cowboy
Okay.
musical.
Yes, I like that. Okay. And so, in your own words, fill in the blank. I want actors, artists, and creatives to practice a little more blank.
A little bit more connection to something outside of themselves.
I love that. All right, awesome. Okay, Brad. So, before we close out here, is there anything that you want to touch on that we didn't get a chance to talk about?
I'm sure there's a lot. I'm definitely proud of a movie I did last year called A Jazzman's Blues.
Yes.
That's on Netflix. I play, another scumbag. I'm a sheriff in the 1940s. That's the roles that I get the opportunity
Hey.
to sing into. So, anyways, check out A Jazzman's Blues on Netflix if you got the time. And yeah, I mean, connect with me on Instagram if
Yeah,
they
so
want
where
to.
can people find you on Instagram? What's your handles and where else?
Yeah,
Twitter, where
I'm
else?
I'm Instagram's probably the best at Brad Benedict. Twitter, I think I'm Brad Benedict as well, but I don't use Twitter. Facebook, the Brad Benedict. But yeah, I'm hoping to build something. I don't know if it's like this, but I want to start my own thing soon. So maybe I'll have something going on YouTube before too long.
Cool.
But really, yeah, I'm just auditioning and getting ready for an upcoming project in about 6 weeks that I can't talk about right now.
Yep.
And trying to stay healthy and keep building on the things that make me happy.
Awesome. I love
Yeah,
that. Well, Brad, we'll definitely have to have you back on here
for sure.
to hear more about your journey and also whatever else you want to share down the line. But I'm so grateful that you took a moment to step into the In Tribe. I really appreciate that. So
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
Awesome.
All right.
All right. Well, what a great talk that was with Brad. I was so happy to have him on, and I hope that you guys were able to just enjoy listening to a little bit more of his journey and his story and all of the things that he has going on. And listen, if you guys want more content, please head over to theintribe.com. There I have more articles, more things, just all kinds of stuff there for you. And again, please be sure to hit like and subscribe on this video, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you at the next one. But until then, please take care, have a great day, keep thriving, and stay inspired. All right? Love you. Bye.